Joining us right now with his insights is Roger Ferguson. He's former Fed vice chairman and a CNBC contributor. And Roger, listening to the interview last night, I didn't hear anything that greatly surprised or shocked me, but we have seen Treasury yields moving this morning, moving higher on this idea that the Fed is not going to cut rates in March. I don't think that comes as a surprise to you, but why do you think the markets need to hear this again and again?
Well, look, I think the markets have built in a certain kind of expectation. They've been making, bets on a March cut, and it's hard for people to recognize and unwind those bets. And in part, it's hard for people, I think, more psychologically than economically in the market to do that. And so I think this repetition gradually gets through the one person and the next market participant. So I think that's what's happening. As you say, there's nothing surprising there. It's just individual participants in the market, waking up and saying, okay, I guess they really are serious here.
We spoke with Steve Eisman about an hour ago, and he made the point, look, it's the Fed's own fault. They have a communication problem. I said, it's pretty clear if you're listening to what they're saying. He said, yes, but you have the dot plots, and the Fed dot plots have been telling people that they anticipate 6 cuts. Why does the Fed continue to put out the dot plots if it just creates confusion in the market?
That's a good question. I don't think that they necessarily think it creates confusion. It gives them a chance every other meeting to really talk about something they really talk about, which is, what is our expectation? The challenge is, to understand those dot plots, you've got to understand a lot of technicality of what assumptions people are making. You also have to understand that it's not a formal forecast. There are a lot of caveats around it. So, I think it is well-intentioned. It's a desire to say this is what might happen. But on the other hand, markets don't take the conditional, they expect it to actually be a forecast and a promise. It's not that. And so I think the challenge is just being clear about what these dot plots are and what they're not. And that's always a little tricky.
Hey, Roger, and all the times that you've been on, and it's been, we've been on this road and on these travels, we've been together. We've had you along with us, and we said again and again, I just got the feeling that you're always pretty hawkish, and I didn't always think you should have been, and for a long time you were right, and then I thought you were wrong, and I was wondering, now I think you were right again, but I was wondering, did you ever think I've been too hawkish, and now I see all the 7 rate cuts coming, and the things are definitely slowing down? Did you ever think, or were you still holding on to that position, and was it really the Fed that was wrong?
Hard to say who was right or wrong here. What was driving me was a general sense that 2 things. One is the Fed really doesn't want to lose credibility. The history suggests something you and I have talked about, stop-start is not considered, good central banking. And so I've always had the expectation they'd probably hang on at rates a little higher for a little longer than the market expected, for the reasons that Chair Powell is now articulating very clearly, which is, they really want a strong sense of confidence that the inflation rate is coming back down to 2%. They also have the luxury now of seeing an economy itself that looks like it's in good shape. And that gives them, I think, again, the ability to wait and see, because tight rates are not doing, do not appear at this stage to be doing significant damage to the economy. So you put those 2 things together, wanting to be clear that inflation is coming down to 2%, high degree of confidence, and the fact that the economy looks like it's holding up well in the face of this rapid increase in rates. And I think both those 2 things give them a sense that they can, be a little more patient in moving rates down, as Chair Powell has been saying.
When you look around, the economy does seem like it's doing fairly well. Why the pressure to cut rates at all? Is it what is normalized at this point?
Well, I think the issue, Becky, is this thing that's sort of elusive, the so-called neutral rate, which no one observes. But there's an expectation that as inflation comes down itself, the level of rates that the Fed should set should be coming down as well, because the real rate, which you understand is the nominal rate minus inflation, you don't want that to increase and find that you're tightening more than they feel that they need. And so it's a natural expectation as inflation comes down that interest rates should be coming down. The question is the pace at which they're doing that, and importantly, as they say, when they start. I'm in the mode that they're probably going to start in June. maybe 3 rate cuts, consistent with the way I've been reading the dot plots. The market was more optimistic. I think they're now moving, in my direction.
It seems that it's a much more complicated thing to try and figure out when you have the balance sheet as large as it is and this quantitative tightening going on at the same time. I don't think we truly understand how quantitative tightening works, where it tightens the screws, when it creates a problem. If you were at the Fed right now, would you rather be tightening up, quantitative tightening and shrinking the balance sheet more, or would you rather use the old tool of cutting interest rates? Which do you stop first?
I'd prefer to focus on the tool that we understand best, which is the interest rate, the federal funds rate. As you observed, we've never really used quantitative tightening this way. So I think caution should prevail there. Consistency, announcing what you're going to do so the market can get ready for it, and executing cautiously is, I think, the best thing to do there with quantitative tightening. Not try to use that as the major lever, because we really don't know how it works exactly, as you point out. And I think in those cases, being as transparent as you can be, consistent with executing a strategy is the better approach. And then where you want to perhaps use a little bit more judgment is in the area of the federal funds rate.
But if you're in a crisis, it's the brake you're going to pump first, right? As we saw last March when we ran into troubles in the banking situation, when the Fed wasn't sure about things, quantitative tightening went out the window.
Oh, absolutely, because we don't quite know how it works. But we're not in a crisis now. They do need to get their balance sheet down for lots of obvious reasons. And I think the way you do it is what they do, which is you try to be as methodical and transparent as possible, letting everything roll off exactly as they say it's going to, so that the market itself can get ready. But you're right. In a crisis moment, you stop all of that. You don't want to, you don't want to go into areas that are uncertain, and you focus on the tools that you know will work.